Hi, my name's Morgan, and I had an old YouTube account, which I had a couple of videos on, and I ended up deleting it for personal reasons. But my videos didn't really have any point to them, it was just me talking. And so I figured for this account, I'm starting off fresh, and I figured that my videos should have some point to them. And so today I wanted to talk about Looking for Alaska, the book I just finished reading. I read it. Looking for Alaska is by John Green of Vlogbrothers, and the reason I started reading it was because my friend posted on her live journal this thing talking about, I love John Green, and you know, had this video where John Green was talking about whether or not they were going to teach this book in a Western New York school, and how there was a debate over it because it was considered pornographic by some people. When I'd watched the video, I was intrigued by John Green and this whole debate because I'm for the freedom of books. I think there should be more diversity in schools about books. So automatically I was on John Green's side, but I was intrigued, and so I went to his YouTube site and I started watching it, and I went back all the way to the beginning, in which Hank is talking about how they're going to start doing this Vlogbrothers, Brotherhood 2.0. And so I started watching it, and it's now one of my favorite shows on YouTube. And the more and more I watched, the more I was like, I want to read Looking for Alaska or An Abundance of Catherines. And I was talking to my friend who had posted the live journal link about John Green, and I said, I think I really want to read Looking for Alaska now, especially since I live in New York, and so it's a little more personal to me. And she was like, well, you should read An Abundance of Catherines first and then Looking for Alaska. And I was like, well, why? She's like, An Abundance of Catherines isn't as good as Looking for Alaska, and so, you should save the best for last, basically. And so I went to the bookstore intending fully to buy An Abundance of Catherines, but it was only hardcover and it was more expensive, and I had like 5 other books I wanted to buy. So I just bought Looking for Alaska because it was a little cheaper, and I was like, if it's better anyway, I may as well. If I really like it, I'm going to read An Abundance of Catherines regardless. So I started reading it, and I have to admit I was impressed, because I honestly wasn't sure how good an author John Green would be. I mean, he was a very interesting person on YouTube, but I didn't really see his writing skills through YouTube, so I wasn't sure how good it would be. And the more and more I read it, the more and more I was interested in it. And I don't want to give away any spoilers for people who haven't read it yet, but anyone who hasn't read it yet and was thinking about it should definitely read it. It is quite honestly the most beautifully written book I've ever read. It is like quickly become my second favorite book. Second only to The Only Alien on the Planet, which has been my favorite book since like 7th grade. Also introduced to me by the same friend who segued me into John Green and Vlogbrothers. And it's not that The Only Alien on the Planet isn't written better, but it's just got more sentimental value to it. But Looking for Alaska, honestly, I was concerned because I wasn't sure about how I was going to feel about the supposed pornographic scenes. And honestly, I don't understand why the school is saying that they shouldn't teach it. I mean, I don't understand why they're particularly wanting to teach it unless they want to talk about the fundamental ideas that John Green discusses through the characters. But honestly, it's not pornographic. I have to agree with John. It's definitely more about the characters and how they experience love, and how it doesn't always have to do with sex and things like that. And honestly, I don't understand why the school isn't willing to teach it. And I actually haven't had an update about the school or anything yet, so I'm kind of hoping that they decide for it in the end, but I'm thus far unknown. Looking for Alaska, just real quick, is basically about this girl Alaska, which at first it starts off with the main guy character that everyone calls Pudge in it. But honestly, I think it's more about Alaska, because while it has a lot to do with Pudge and how he grows and understands things, I think a lot of it has to do with the mystery or surrounding Alaska. And honestly, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it ever since. I'm always wondering, well, maybe Alaska was thinking this, or maybe Alaska was thinking that, and it's raised a lot of questions for me. In it, they go to school, and there's a religion class where they're talking about all sorts of different religions, and honestly, he brings up so many different issues that it's just a really good book. And it's so beautifully well written. I loved it, and I definitely am going to read it a bunch more times. I've got a pile of books I'm supposed to be reading, but I'm definitely going to be coming back to Looking for Alaska, and I don't know, I just think that it's it's the most beautifully written book I've ever read, honestly. It's an instant favorite, and if I ever meet John Green, I'm definitely having an autographed copy of it, because it's so amazing. I love it. It actually beat out one of my other favorite books, Companions of the Night, by a local author. But honestly, Looking for Alaska is one of the best books I've ever read. So if you're just looking for a new book and you've never heard of Looking for Alaska, you should definitely check it out. And if you have heard of it and you haven't read it yet, definitely read it. You won't regret it. You won't regret spending the money for it. You won't regret reading it. It's amazing. I couldn't put it down. At first I was like, but once the ball starts rolling, you won't put it down. It's a really, really awesome book. But I don't know. Pick it up. Looking for Alaska. Well, ooh, that was a little close, but anyway. Alright. So, yeah. If you have read it, leave me a comment and tell me what you thought about it. Honestly, I think that it raises a lot of questions, and while not necessarily religious questions, it definitely raises questions about how you view the world and what you think, and it's really awesome. So check it out. Okay, bye.